Hey family, welcome back to the channel. This is One-on-One with Cut Nice 50. Today we got another video review, and this one is going to be another banger. I guess it went viral a couple of days ago, but it's going to be talking about this pastor, Mark Driscoll, who was booted off the stage at a male's retreat. Y'all don't know anything about it. I'm going to do some reviews off my guy, Officer Tatum, and Pastor Marcus Rogers. I like both of these guys. Even though I don't agree with everything they say, I do follow them a little bit, especially Marcus Rogers. I know his story a little bit. But I like to hear what y'all have to say about these videos. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. I think the first one is going to be, let's go ahead with Officer Tatum so y'all can see two different viewpoints of these, and we're going to go ahead and get it started. Like always, family, the links for these videos will be in the description below. Y'all check out both of these channels. Both of these guys are amazing. But we want to see two different sides of it. As a religious person myself, today's church outlook is a little bit different. I know they're changing up things for certain things. Like I said before, if y'all been following my channel, I don't agree with and I don't believe, but I don't follow it also. I'm not gonna allow something that I don't feel is morally right or right, period, and I'm just gonna sit around it. But that's just a different story. Y'all share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let's go.
I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis because I don't want the video to be an hour long. So Mark Driscoll went to James River Church, or the pastor of James River Church. I think he was hosting the conference. His name is John Lindell. So John Lindell is hosting the conference. The conference has had controversial things in the past. They had a monster truck event, which I think is not that bad. I mean, monster truck event is cool. I don't know unless they have Monster energy drink and other potentially demonic forces on these, monster trucks. Then I don't think it's a big deal. However, this time around, they had a stripper. He was a former stripper, a male stripper.
So I don't know what y'all think about that. Why this commercial is on. Having a male stripper or a former stripper, whatever you want to call, at a church that you're attending, would you agree with it, or what do you think is a place for that? As you can see, this guy, I guess, in the church, he came out, ripped off his shirt, and he got a stripper pole. But what's weird to me is this is a all male retreat. So share your thoughts. Let me know. I guess it's new age, new. I don't do male retreats. I don't do today's churches like that, even though I work on Sundays. But that's just a different story. Share your thoughts. Is this allowed in churches? Did this happen to your church? You already know I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. So that Transformation Church, that's a little something different for me. I wouldn't attend it myself personally, but that's just my own personal perception of that church.
Conference. They opened up the conference with a man who allegedly, I don't know if he's still a stripper, but according to the article, he used to be a male stripper, pole dancer. He opens up the conference, rips his shirt off, sticks a sword down his throat, climbs up on a pole and doing the whole thing. And so when Mark Driscoll had to speak, he said a whole host of things, but he addressed it. And John Lindell got mad at him and kicked him off the stage. Now, let me say this. I am not for pastors openly rebuking other pastors when they have a personal relationship. If you could just tell them right away, hey, man, I need you to address this, or I'm not going to speak. Or I'm going to have to speak about this if you don't address this. However, there are some things that need no qualifying components for you to just call out. Now, I don't know if the pastor believed that Mark Driscoll wanted to go viral or something like that because he was offended. He said, if you have a heart against your brother, but man, listen, you should have discernment and know better than to do what you did. However, I haven't seen the full clip, but I found it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted y'all to check out this one right here, Officer Tatum. He got the full clip. I got Marcus Rogers. He only touched base on it, but he's, like I say, he is a pastor, so he's going off of this standpoint. I think Officer Tatum, he was like me, law enforcement. I don't know how many years he was in it. And I think he also, what else? He law enforcement. I think he also was an athlete. like myself. But sometimes similar views, but some things, different background that I don't agree necessarily with Officer Tatum, but he is coming around to me. But like I said, you don't put your trust in any man. You learn what you can learn from whatever outlet that you're looking at, whatever you're observing, and you make your own educated decision about the information you want to receive, how you're going to take it, and if it's actually legit. But let's go ahead and continue.
Oh, some people have not been sharing the full clip, so I'm gonna share this full clip so we can see the whole entire context to this video. And it's small, so just listen to what he has to say. Because they're not fighting. The sexuality shares on a spectrum. They are we want you to be like them, not like them. He made you male people. They want you to be it's not male or female. So that you're no longer manifesting the image of God, but the covenant image of God. You made it now. You're no longer male. You're living in a cult.
I'm gonna pause it right there because I actually agree with him. America today is not like America when I was growing up. Everybody has a challenging, but it's starting to get a little bit more different. Now, if you're like myself, you believe in the Bible, you know what he said about demonic forces and demons are actually true. They want you to be more like themselves. If you ever remember when he cast out the evil spirits or demons into those pigs and they went into the ocean, they called themselves, we are legion. We are them, they, them, all of that. And now today, what we hear our own people calling themselves, them, they, he, she, it's just male, female. I don't care anything about your sexual orientation. That's your choice. But this is some history or some context to when you're titling yourself of these things. This is some of the implications that comes from biblical sense, and what history has already said. But you can be one of those people who don't believe in angels or demons or the God or the devil. You can be one of those people, and you're entitled to your own beliefs. But it's kind of funny that you see these things, you hear it over and over, that these things can't be true. Like I said before, if you did any history about the Bible and you see some of the things they're finding out now, it's just amazing, man. So I know a lot of people get scared of it, but it's always time to change. It's always time to get down on your knee, you pray for anything else. I mean, it's just a gift that we have each and every day going forward. But he touched he gave a good topic, a good point when he said they don't want you to be like yourself because we are remarkable beings. Yes, we're given a choice to live the life however we choose fit, but we are more, I think, powerful than we know. The world around us is always thriving on putting us down, keeping us out of our natural state. Like, look at the shoes we wear. If you're never grounding, you don't know anything about grounding, and we are actual electrical beings and stuff of that nature. It's just remarkable. The food that we eat is killing us. The air that we breathe, that the stuff they put in the air, we're not even in our natural habitat to thrive in, but we're still thriving each and every day. We do stuff damaging our body each and every day. And that's just a nutritionist in me. But let's go ahead. Yeah, as y'all can see, I'm passionate about this topic. I go on and on about health, nutrition, and fitness. But we're going to go ahead and continue now.
Said next session if I'm allowed to come back.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what kind of retreat this is, but y'all can hear him. He's going over the events that happened. And I think the pastor gonna come out. He's gonna kick him off the stage. He's gonna, start talking about other things, and he's just gonna leave. He's not gonna argue, but you're gonna hear a lot of guys chanting, and this is good to know. People they've been sitting around in these churches and they're seeing things that they actually don't like or don't agree with, but they're staying there. They're not speaking out about it. They're not walking out the church. They're not doing a lot of things. And this brings me back to the TD Jakes, his church. I think I seen a video, and y'all know the scandal and stuff like that with P. Diddy. I don't know. I can assume some of the things, allegations that they say are true. You can just guess. You can tell. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got plenty of friends, family members who are homosexual, whatever the case, and you can kind of get an inkling that this guy is not a straight male, no matter what he say. I don't care anything about it. Just come out and tell the truth. But I guess if you're in the limelight as a pastor, certain things you can't come out and tell. It's just your choice, man. This is your life. You're able to choose whatever you got to do, but don't be hypocritical or judge other people's for their own personal beliefs, systems, and don't lead others on. And with all these allegations, it's just crazy. But they showed a video of TD Jakes' church, and I think the camera didn't want to spin it around like that, but it was half empty. So I'm glad to see these guys going to other churches so they can get the word from a minister or whoever the case, who they believe can lead them in the right direction. Oh, and I also think the TD Jakes church, he had the same thing. He had a stripper or a cop who was dancing or twerking or whatever the case, and I think that went viral. I just didn't cover that or do a video about it. Like I said, I'm in Atlanta, so these things, it happens sadly all the time around here, and I guess it's the new age of churching that people are wants to follow or wants to believe, or they think it's the it. But where's the message? What are you going to church for? Are you repenting from whatever the case, any negative or any desires or things that you want to change about yourself? So if you don't want to change anything, I don't think it's nothing to repent about if you choose or you agree with whatever you're doing. So that's just something on my standpoint, man. If you know something, I tell anybody, if you feel it in your heart, you know something is wrong, and you keep doing it, it's a sin. If you actually believe in your heart that whatever you're doing is not a sin, I don't think you'll be judged for that. But I think all of us are gonna go through an ultimate judgment. So we just got to be mindful of how we treat others, how we lead towards being judgmental for others for their own personal beliefs and decisions about their own life. I just think we need to be concerned with our life, our children, and the people who it affect around our circle. And it could affect everybody because we're all interconnected. But I think not judging others for their own decisions, even though we don't have to agree, because I don't agree with a lot of things, but I'm not going to judge them for their decisions. Let's go.
So the pastor, if you hear it, he yelled, "You're out of line, Mark. You're out of line, Mark." Right? Mark Driscoll is addressing what happened at this church. So the things that he's describing is exactly what happened. The man took his shirt off. The man put a sword down his throat and then started to ascend on this stripper pole to do a performance. The man used to be a male stripper. Jesus Christ. Okay, Pastor Strong, thank you. Said, let's go, Mark. They're yelling, let's go. They're booing the pastor saying, Pastor Driscoll was very respectful. Like a man of God should be, say, this is the man's house. I received what you said. I'll get off the stage. I'm not going to argue with you. But I got to let the truth be known. That man, John Lindell of James River Church, kicked Mark Driscoll off the stage. And listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, that's one thing. I kind of like it, man. You get kicked off, you're not in your own church, and he went ahead and left off the stage. But he had to address something that he didn't feel in his heart was right. And he probably had his own performance, his own speech that he had to do. But instead of doing it, he went ahead and spoke out about what he thought was not right.
And I believe that they're booing this John Lindell guy for kicking Mark Driscoll off the stage.
Yeah, they're actually booing.
He's telling the truth. And I bet a lot of people at the conference felt like Mark Driscoll did, but this pastor was embarrassed.
And they yelling, bring him back.
Bring him back. They're booing and saying, bring him back, bring him back.
But Mark, like I said before, he's speaking up. He spoke to Mark around an hour. The event didn't happen, so he didn't know what was going to happen during the show. Just like I'm pretty sure these guys at this conference didn't know what was about to happen, because if they did, a lot of them probably wouldn't have showed up. So, I mean, that's just my own perception. Let's go.
Watch them what they should have done right. The pastor that's exactly what he just did to you. That's why churches like, I see why people don't go to church. It's all love. This man had a stripper come and perform at a men's conference. Pastor calls him out. Now, he's claiming that the Bible says if you have an ought with your brother, you should do it in private. So, brother, when he was saying that, you developed an ought with him. You should have done it in private. But instead, you rebuked him in front of everybody and said that he should have rebuked you in private.
So as you can see, we all are hypocritical at times. Even the pastor right there, he, like you said before, he's saying one thing, but he actually doing another. But when should you address it? If he's giving a false message to maybe thousands of guys, who knows how many guys at this conference, and they actually agree with him. But so that's a sad thing. You know, these men in today, how they just masquerading them and everything else. Men are not men like they used to be back in the day. And that's for a specific reason. Y'all know anything about when I did my videos on low testosterone, and the effects that it has on your manhood, sexuality, everything else like that, because you don't feel like a man. If you got low T, and that's pretty much, I think, 75%. The numbers are ridiculous. So don't quote me on that, but just do your research on low testosterone, especially on men in the USA. So if you're feeling a type of way, that's because you have low T. If you're not feeling like yourself, you're not feeling, So we are, as men, we're naturally aggressive. Women are naturally feminine and naturally emotional. You can't change your biology with that. You can choose whatever you want to, but certain things you can't change those markers, or you can't change that ability. But if your hormones are out of whack, that's when it comes into it off the health reasons. You have hormone issues, then you're not feeling like your natural self, and that can lead to other problems and identity, um, false identities, and things of that nature. But if you go ahead, get help, get your markers checked, do your blood work, and I'm always preaching that, then you'll start feeling better. You have more energy. You have more um, ability to do whatever you want to do. So I always tell everybody, I don't care if you're an athlete, whatever you're doing, get your markers checked, research your own health, and always consult with a physician.
But you just rebuked him in front of everybody. And you said you're gonna call a brother out. When he called you out, you called him out, or he called you out, you call him out in private. Come on, bro. It's hypocritical. You get to do what you want to do because you get past. You're not doing according to God because you should have waited. Let him say what he had to say because he did not direct it at you. He didn't call you out as a pastor. He directed that the event was a Jezebel spirit. And you should have let him finish. And then you should have a private conversation with him. No, because you the pastor, you usurp your authority over all of that. So if the man call you out, you hold him accountable to hold yourself accountable.
530 people.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've seen enough.
Yeah, like I said before, that's Officer Tatum right there. He did a video on Pastor Mark Driscoll getting booed off the stage after he rebuked over a male stripper. Now, I myself, I don't think a stripper should be allowed in the church like that. Here's the other video right here from my guy, Marcus Rogers. He's a pastor. He has a different take on it. This video right here ain't gonna be too long. He's gonna talk about his idea of it. He's gonna show a little clip from it. Like I said before, Officer Tatum was saying a lot of people sharing clips, but like I said, people normally was jumping on the bandwagon doing videos for clicks and views. I myself personally didn't know too much about it, but I have seen this happen in many churches before. After the whole, like I said, I'm in Atlanta, so it's all kind of churches that's not traditional, that has a different mindset for today's age, but it's not biblical. They open the doors to everything, and it's just a strange time for me. Even though I work Sunday, I like different churches, and I do online church, and there's a couple other churches that I would go to, and we have went to when I was generally off. But after the pandemic stuff, man, it was a little bit different when it was agreeing with things of that nature that I didn't agree with as a health and fitness expert. I call myself as a nutritionist, as a trainer, and having insight from people who work for the government and from the people who was doing the things they had to do to treat others. I just leave it like that. But I didn't agree with things that was persuading others to do stuff that they felt uncomfortable with. But let's go ahead and hear what Marcus has to say.
Real quick, so you can just see it if you didn't.
Maybe it's gonna go to commercial or something like that.
See it, and then we will go from there. All right.
Right. Let me do this. I've been up since 1 o'clock. Reading on course is how to ready to do course. Very good. It's not what I want. Just best. Just best spirit.
Sister videoreaction. What the word of God said is wow, with the high point. All it was, oh, gosh, same thing that's just
like I said, y'all heard this right there before, but I'm gonna let him go ahead and keep continuing to talk. He's gonna go over it. But as you can see, if y'all know anything about the Jezebel spirit, look that up on Google, check in the Bible, and hear what it has to say. But if you go to these concerts, you go to these whatever your famous people that y'all go to see these rappers, performers, and they have these same things that symbolizes other things, demonic forces, whatever. These events are not like for entertainment purposes. You can still clearly see rituals and everything else. But let's go ahead and see what he had to say. I know he said what he had to say. He left. Yeah, and it's the same thing. Like I said before, I think Marcus is gonna actually go to the guy um himself and let y'all see what he was talking about. But you get rebuked, you get kicked off the stage. It's not your stage, and you went ahead and you left. You try to be respectful, but he didn't feel that that was right or appropriate at that time. But this is the guy right here. So share your thoughts. Let me know what y'all think about that. You see this guy, you see the ladies he went to. Does that look um, godly or spiritual right there at that moment? Would you allow this to take place in your place of worship? But it's not really a church, I guess. This is a men's spiritual retreat. So would you expect something like this to take place? I say if it was a woman, that'd be a whole different ball game. But that's still not allowed um, in a event like that. But let's hear what Marcus has to say, man.
Just open in the church, and it's absolutely disgusting. All right. I think he was on Britain's Got Talent. All right. He's a sword swallower, 26 years old. All right. And so for the opening act of the 2024 Stronger Men's Conference, hosted by John Ledet. Matter of fact, let me pull this up because I want you to see it, and then I'm going to say what I want to say. But I'm pretty disturbed because I see a lot of Christian influencers right now, right? They're responding to it. Oh my goodness, this is crazy, right? And they're right. But my question is, why, when it's something so obvious, everybody wants to respond? You know why? Because they know they're going to get views, and they know they're going to. Where was this energy for the Maverick City stuff? Where was this energy for the Dante Bo stuff? Where was this energy for a lot of the stuff that's going on?
Yeah, now and how he's talking, a lot of that stuff I didn't know anything about. Generally, I keep my head down, I keep it moving, I try to do what I got to do, focus on more fitness, health, nutrition, helping others getting healthy. But stuff like this, they're responding because it's just blatantly obvious. Certain things should never be allowed, and probably because it took place at a conference. I guess it was over 500 something guys where it's nothing but men there. It's not in a church, but just clearly you can see something wrong. And the guy was just a performer. He got paid to do what he got to do. And he's a young guy. So, if you're getting paid to do an event, get your money. I don't see nothing wrong with it. But I don't even know if that guy knew what kind of event it was. But as a spiritual retreat, you wouldn't think something like that to go on. But I guess they said he does events that's a little bit different anyway. He had monster trucks, stuff like that, opening one time before, but I don't know anything about this guy. But share your thoughts. Let me know what you think.
Church, but because we're buddy, we don't address it. So Pastor Mark did something that was bold, and it was obvious, like, yo, this is crazy. We've crossed the line. But there's a lot of stuff that I know for a fact because I'm behind the scenes. You see stuff going on, but we buddy, and we don't talk about it. If we're going to judge with righteous judgment, then everything everything has to get the same energy. So we see compromise here and there and there, but people don't want to speak out about it because it's politics. But now you're going to see so many people making a response video to this because what? It's not going to cost them anything, right? Clearly, this was crazy. Clearly, it was wrong. Clearly, Pastor Mark is 100% right for what he did. So people are going to make response videos and warnings from God and things like that. But then they ignore all the other stuff that's going on in the church. And you see that this person is compromised. You see that this person is drinking and drunk, but then you still bring them into your church, let them lead worship. You still do a event with them because you want to put butts in seats because it's really about the money. And that's the part that makes me sick. I feel like I can talk about this because I always talk about it, even when it's not popular. When God showed me what he did about Maverick City and Dante Bowe, and everybody was giving me a hard time because they were trending, I wasn't trying to be self-righteous, but wrong is wrong. And I tried to do it in love. And people were so mad and upset. And so the same people who got mad at me about this, I see them making videos now talking about this. And it's like, why don't we just keep the same energy for everything? So look at this. This is the pastor, I believe, who held the conference. All right. You see some images right here. And I scrolled to check his page.
And as you see, Marcus Rogers, man, he's been talking about stuff like this for a while. I forgot what happened to him. I think he was influencer or something like that before preaching. Something went viral, and I think now he's actually doing good things. He's still a working pastor. He's doing a lot of stuff for the community. I actually like this guy right here compared to a lot of other these I guess famous pastors. But I'm glad a lot more people are starting to watch him a little bit more. Besides his viral clips and stuff like that. I remember hearing this story when he first got started. He used to reach out to other people to help him, but he was just using his platform since he was the hot thing at that time to get on. But then they started being hypocritical. And I think he changed up a little bit. Had to take a step back when he was starting to get personal attacks on his life. But that's a different story. If you don't know anything about Marcus Rogers, let me know. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let's go.
And look at this. Now I'm gonna be careful what I say because I've never met this man. I don't know him. They got monster trucks. I guess this was in the church. You know what I'm saying? I don't even now. You guys know at Firehouse. Listen, I get a little bit wild. I'm not big on the smoke. I'm not big on the lights or anything like that. I'm a little old school when it comes to that. But I am a little bit new school where if somebody looked at our service and they saw us jumping around and things like that, they're probably gonna have something to say about what we do. They'll say that we look like the world or whatever. So I'm not gonna judge this man based off of that. I don't know much about him. But it's crazy, right? When you look at the images of this sword swallower God that you openly let that in the church. So my question would be, I don't know their theology. I know there's some people, they don't believe in the supernatural, right? That's where we get a lot of the division on YouTube. So they don't believe in spiritual warfare. They don't believe that you can open yourself up to spirits. So, even you would think from this is how far the church has got under a delusion. You would think from a common sense perspective, right? Which makes me question, who do you have in the church leadership? Obviously, the pastor has that final decision, but who do you have in the church leadership that looked at this guy, researched him, and said, and what makes it even weird, it was a men's conference, right? So why do you got some dude who's clearly there's some LGBTQ stuff going on if you look him up, stripping and ripping his shirt off and swallowing swords in front of a bunch of men? I'm surprised that there wasn't more of an uproar, and it took Pastor Mark to get up there, you know what I'm saying, and say something.
But it was an uproar. It just wasn't one at that time. But like I said, Marcus is going off a different take on there. I'm not going to go ahead and just continue to just go on and on about his video right here. But y'all, I like his content. I like what he's saying. I like a lot of the videos he puts out. I've been following him for a while. But we're just trying to get back started, man. We're trying to preach more positive energy out there. We're trying to be less judgmental. We're trying to just, get through this, navigate through this life the best way we can. But certain things we have to speak out about. We have to look and say, hey, something is strange about this, it's not right. I wouldn't be a part of it, but I don't accept everything. I know they're trying to force us to accept a lot of stuff, but just like I said, in acting, y'all know I did acting for a while, and it's that drive to want to act is not, it's not fulfilling for me no more. Like you said, the spiritual warfare is real out there. Whether you believe in it or not, it's a real thing. It's because the best actors has to become that character, which you mean you're inviting something else into your body, whether you believe that or not, and that's the best performance because you clearly see that that person is not the same person that you know. So it's like a little bit division in myself when it comes to acting. Certain roles I won't take, certain things I can. If it's more characteristics like myself, then it's easy. But if it's going to other characteristics that I don't believe in to portray or want to present to the public, then I always say no. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna accept certain things. I'm not gonna promote certain things. But that's just the world that we live in, man. So, but share your thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. Do you believe in spiritual warfare? Did you know anything about this Mark Driscoll guy getting kicked out of the Christian conference for having a stripper or speaking out about a stripper at the show in the Jezebel spirit? And the pastor actually kicked him out, and he didn't hesitate. He just left immediately and got off the stage. And he was probably a paid speaker for the event. So they had to change up the event because he spoke out. So have you ever been in a situation like that when you're getting paid to do something, something happens before you go ahead and perform, which you know in your heart wasn't right or you felt wasn't right, and you had to speak out about it? Would you do the same thing that he did, or would you just stay quiet and address it after the fact with the pastor or whatever the case is? Hey, I won't speak on it. But I think he actually did the right thing because he didn't speak out about it. The pastor didn't have to kick him out, but that's what he wanted to do. But share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this video, man. But like I said, this is one-on-one with Cut Nice 50. We're trying to still stay positive out there. We're preaching positive energy, but we just want to have a good discussion or a debate about what's going on with the churches out there, what's going on with these men's conferences, what's it's going on today. This is like a good example of why most people are not going to church, because they see things like this that's taking place that they feel are not right, and they don't want to take a part of it. Like I said, if you know anything about Atlanta churches out here, it's a little bit differently. I think it's a place that everybody should be able to go if they actually believe they want to worship, they want to give their thanks to God. But I think it's still a time and a place and a way that you should do it. In private, you can worship any way that you want to, but in public, I think you could send false narratives to the young-minded or the young people. As an older gentleman, I don't see anything wrong. I can go and get the message from any church that I attend. That's why I used to church hop, as we used to call it. But today, man, it's like it's a little different. It's a little weird. And I do believe in spiritual warfare that's going on out there, especially today. They just throwing it in your face. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And with that, hey, we out.